You see me like let's say the old movie, okay? Charlie Chaplin, just Sora bus, okay? So, okay, let's go back. Okay, this is the, as we mentioned, this is the framework. So I will go, for instance, I will click on my Kali machine, and the page says press spacebar. Okay, I will press spacebar on my Kali machine. I have to enter username and password. Okay, root and tour. Okay. Then once if I am logged in, I will click on the terminal icon in the favorites bar on the left side. Okay, I will go to my terminal. I will click on that terminal. Okay, you do have that terminal of Kali machine. Okay, it says, can you see here, because of the, let's say, the slow connection, so sometimes it takes time to move on. So I will put service, for instance, PostgreSQL. Does anyone know what is PostgreSQL? Anyone, Shabab? It is an open database. This is the database that is used for like we use, for instance, MySQL database or Oracle, let's say, relational database. This is an object relational database that is used mostly by Linux machines. So that means we need, for instance, when we gather information, we want to store it in a database. The database that we are going to open to start is known as PostgreSQL database. And let's see now if what we get as a response. Okay, that means it has been started. Okay, here it says now type MSF console to get to this Metasploit framework. How we can get to it? By typing MSF console. Okay, when I type, for instance, MSF console, okay, you will be presented by the MSF, by Metasploit console, where you can see here it is starting. Okay, this is, let's say, the logo. Okay, and I will get, this is the console for my Metasploit framework. So now I will type to see the database status, whether I am connected to the database that we have started previously or not, because sometimes it is not enough. So I have to type database status and see what it says. Can you see here? It says Postgres selected, but no connection. There's no connection. That means what I have to go back. Here it says here, if you get, for instance, if you go for your machine, sometimes you want to use your machine, it will say it is connected. It is connected to PostgreSQL. But in case you have this type of message which says no connection, okay, it says if you get this message, that database was not initiated. If you get PostgreSQL connected to MSF, we can go directly to step 13. We are in this step. It is not connected. So what I will do, I will type exit. I will go back, get out from MSF console. Okay. Then I will have to initiate my database. Okay. MSF says DB, initiate my database. Actually, can you see here? It is creating initial database schema. Okay, then I will go and type PostgreSQL restart. Here we are going to restart because we have already started previously. We are going to restart it and press enter. We go back to my MSF console to get inside the Metasploit framework. Okay, and we will check it again. We will apply the database status like we did in previous step. Okay, and we're going to see, you can see here the logo will change. Okay, database. Just status. Can you see now, Shabab? It says PostgreSQL connected to MSF. Okay, so that means, well, we are good now. Now we are going to type the nmap command. Okay.
So, Doctor,
Yes.
are we trying to gather information from the database?
We will put our data into database, so we can get it later. We can extract it later, because when you do, for instance, Recon is also data gathering, you need to store it somewhere. Okay, so in this step, we want to store our data in a database so we can get it later. We can go back to our data and look at the data we have already gathered. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, /24. Here what we are doing, I will not tell you what are the different switches for the nmap. I will let you discover it later. Okay, I want you to learn it by discovering them by yourself. Okay, you go to nmap. Okay, you click, for instance, nmap space -help. It will give you all the details about the nmap, and you can easily discover what is meant by -pn, -s, -a, whatsoever. Just I will tell you here, just here we are, this step, which is -ox. I am outputting the result of nmap into a file, which I will call test. And the data type of that, the data inside that test file is XML type. Okay, so this is just to let you know that what we are doing. I will let you discover the other switches. Here we are trying to nmap, okay, to discover, to scan the whole subnet 10.10.10.0. We are not scanning only one machine. We are scanning many machines, okay, or let's say all the machines that might exist in that network, which is 10.10.0/24. Here, when we specify /24, what is meant by /24, Shabab?
The subnetting.
Subnetting. What is meant by subnetting now? So what we expect? Can you give, let's say, an example of an IP address that belongs to that subnet?
10.10.10.24.
Yes. Oh. 24, for example, for our in this environment, as I mentioned previously, you do have 10. We said that by looking at the last octet or last number, you can know what is, let's say, the corresponding machine. If it is Windows 10, you will find 10. If it is Windows 12, you will find the 12. If it is 16, Windows Server 16, you will find .16. Okay, this is just to facilitate, let's say, to memorize the IP addresses of the different machines. It will take time to scan the whole network. Okay, and on completion of, let's say, the scanning, okay, you will get, let's say, those information. Okay, with regard of, let's say, the discovered machines. Okay, now later, once the nmap is done, okay, we will type the db import test. This is the file that we have mentioned here. We are importing the test result into our database. Okay, we stored here, we outputted the result of nmap into a file. We called it test. Then we are going to bring that result into our database. Okay, we are importing the result inside our database. So it will take time, as we mentioned, because it is going through from 1 to 255. Okay, it is scanning the whole subnet. Okay, so let me just explain the remaining steps so we can go back and apply them. Here we are importing the result of the nmap. Then when you type hosts, it will display, yes, good, we are there now. We do have nmap done, 256 IP addresses that have been scanned. The discovered were 6 hosts up, and it gives you the time it took to scan the whole network. And these are, let's say, the result. So what we can do, okay, let me just type db import into test. You can see here it is importing, okay, the result. Then we type host, so it will show us, let's say, this is what it has been discovered. Okay, these are the IP address. This is the MAC address of each device that has been discovered, and it says here Windows 7, Linux, Windows logon, unknown, Windows 7, Windows 16, whatever the information. Okay, you can see here OS name. Okay, but in the OS flavor we don't get anything. It is empty. Can you see, Shabab? Because it says here and
what is it? What
you will see later. You will see later what is meant by flavor. Okay, so it says here nmap does not gather operating system flavor information yet. So what we need to do, okay, let's do another scan here. Okay, let's say db nmap. Okay, so -s -a 10, let's say just .10, sorry. Say .10, .10.16.
دكتور بس سؤال الحين نحن قاعد نسوي information gathering.
Yes, about the whole network. Okay, let's say for instance you have discovered
في الجهاز.
لا أصبر. Suppose that now you did information gathering. Okay, عن طريق الويب سايت، عن طريق السوشيال انجينيرنج. المهم في الأخير you discover، اكتشفت أنه your target organization is running 10.10.10.0 network. Okay, this is the information you have. عرفت أنه the organization is using this network ID. Now what you want to do, you want to try to discover ايش هم الأجهزة devices that are alive or running within that organization that does have network 10.10.10.0. So by using nmap راح تمشي على كل possible IP addresses اللي تكون خلال موجودة جوا 10.10.10.0. Any PC that is on, it will give you the information about it. For instance here هذا 10.10.10.8 is alive. يعني شوف الآن، لو تشوف الآن في الأول among 256 IP addresses that have been scanned, okay, we got only 6 hosts up. واضح؟
Yes.
هذا .8 is up, .9 is up, .10 is up. هذول ال IP addresses of the hosts that are up. Okay, if you can see here Shaba also nmap XML, as I mentioned previously, when we used .x with our nmap command, okay, -0x, so I told you that it will be stored as XML file. Okay, and this is XML file. So now what we did in our nmap, okay, we scanned nmap server. We used nmap to scan the Windows Server 2016 machine. Okay, by using -s, okay, we managed to get the different, let's say, services running inside your Windows Server. Okay, for instance, I do have here NetBIOS is a service that I can discover. Okay, and you can find many services running. This is, for instance, Windows RPC, Remote Procedural Control, is a service that is provided by a server, so it is running. So by knowing, for instance, these services, you can later, for instance, search for a vulnerability associated with that specific service and use an exploit to exploit that that vulnerability. Okay, so here what we did, we tried just to discover the services running on Windows machine server. Okay, now what we are going to use here, if you can see here, it says use scanner SMB version. Okay, let's say, for instance, say find scanner slash SMB underscore version. Search or find scanner. Let me just use scanner SMB version, SMB underscore version. Okay, let's now use it. It's not like in the real Kali. Here what we are doing, okay, this scanner S/SMB version, it is one of the exploit that is let's say available in your framework, Metasploit framework. So here what we are doing, we are telling that Metasploit to use this exploit. This is an exploit. Okay, let me check again. Find if you can, we can find it. No, let's say SMB. Yes, it was okay. Yeah, I'm searching for. If you can see here, Shabab, when I typed. Okay, let's go and be more focusing on SMB. Sorry. Okay, can you see here, Shabab? I just searched. I was searching. If, for instance, if I know, let's say you went to the internet, okay, and you search for vulnerability associated with XYZ service, and you discover that that service has vulnerabilities related to SMB, which is, let's say, a protocol that is used to exchange, let's say, messages between different services in different machines, in different Windows machine. Okay, so I discovered there is a vulnerability associated with that one. So I will search on the net, and it says it is called SMB version. So now I want to verify whether my version of Kali or Metasploit framework has this exploit. I search for that exploit, and it says it did just discover that it is there. Okay, so that's why I use, when I clicked on the, when I typed use, okay, when we typed use scanner SMB version, that means I want to use this exploit. Okay, so now when you type use, it will get you to the console of that exploit. Okay, so it will load that module, that program. Okay, now it says here type show options. So I will type show options to see what types of parameters I need to enter. If you can see here, we do have the name of options, current setting, and whether it is required to provide the information or not. And what is meant by R host, which is the target address range. Okay, if I want to do, for instance, to gather information, to extract information about specific PC or specific network, so I need to provide R host, and it is required. If I don't provide the information for the required options, I cannot run this exploit. For instance, if I go SMB domain, here it says required, it says no. That means I don't have to fill that information. SMB password, I don't have to fill that information. However, a thread, I have to provide that information, but it is already there. Current settings, it is already one. However, for the R host, current settings is empty, and I have to provide it. Did you got the idea, Shabab? For any, let's say, Shabab, for any options, for any module you are going to use within the MSF or Metasploit framework, you need to type show options to see what is required by you to provide as information in order just to run that run that exploit. If you don't provide the required parameters, the required options, you cannot run that modules correctly. Clear, Shabab, till now?
Yes.
Okay. So here, yes. Someone wants to ask, Shabab? Okay, good. Now, I go back. Okay, it says here, now to set or to provide information about, for instance, about our host, the only thing that I need to do is by using the command set, okay, set our hosts, then space, I want to provide, if you can see here, we are providing the range of IP addresses that we want to consider them as a target. Okay, I will type, for instance, 10, 10, 10, sorry, 10, 10, 10, okay, that to 16. That means 8, from 8 to 16, okay, machine that 10, 10, 10, 8, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, until we get to 10, 16. And I will press enter, okay, to see whether my command has been taken, has been applied. I will go and type show options again. Can you see now, Shabab, here?
Yes.
Now our host current settings is 10, 10, 10, 8.16. Previously it was empty. When I started my my module, it was empty. So by settings that module, you got now that information. Another thing here threads 1. I want to run in parallel. I want to do, for instance, 1. That means how many scan can be done in parallel. Okay, here I do have 16 machine. I want to be more quicker. I want to do in parallel scanning for all those machines. So I will change that value to, for instance, to 100. You go here, for instance, set thread, okay, to 100. Okay, show options, the same thing as we did previously, and it is already set to 100. Okay, so I am done now. All those required fields have been filled with the corresponding information. Our host, it is required. I have that settings. Threads, it is required. I have the settings previously, but I changed it. Now I am done with all the required field. Now what I need to do, I just put to type run. When you press run, and it starts by scanning those hosts, okay, and gathering the information. Okay.
Top Doctor?
Yes.
Where the information will be stored? In
Now?
that database?
No, it is not in the stored database. It is now on your screen. If you want to store it, you need to provide other command to store the output, to direct the execution of the output into a file, for instance.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I type host, like we did previously, Shabab, can you see now the flavor? What is meant by flavor of the operating system? Can you see the difference now between the nmap we did previously without using this exploit? Okay, because by default the nmap doesn't provide you with the flavor, which, let's say, a type of operating system. Can you see here when we used host without using that exploit program or that exploit modules or code, we didn't get the operating system flavor. But when we apply that part of modules, we got now the flavor of the operating system, whether it is Windows Pro or Enterprise or Standard. Because as much as you gather information, you will focus on that specific operating system to search for the corresponding, for instance, vulnerabilities. Then you will choose for, let's say, an appropriate exploit to exploit those vulnerabilities. Is that clear, Shabab? And we are done with this lab. So this is just a practice for you to use that Metasploit framework in order for just to get an idea about the different, let's say, how you can use modules and how you can exploit those modules already installed in the Metasploit framework. Yes, Imad?
Yes, I still don't understand what OS flavor means after we did the SMB.
We did know that when we used the unmap without using this exploit, we got information about Windows 8. But if you go, for instance, to Windows S, there are many types of Windows 8. You can have a professional edition, you can have enterprise edition, you can have standalone edition. So this is what is meant by the flavor. So it gives you more information about the operating system.
Oh, okay.
On its own, the Nmap doesn't provide you the flavor. It gives you the operating system. The information tells you this is Windows 10, this is Windows 12. But it doesn't tell you, for instance, whether it is professional or enterprise or standard version.
What's the difference, Doctor?
It is the options. The options that have been... it's like when you do have, for instance, Windows...
yes, but why will it matter? I mean... If it's home or
matters. Yes, it matters with regard to the vulnerabilities. For instance, let's say the standard, okay, has XYZ vulnerability that has been patched with Windows Professional, for instance.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So by knowing the flavor of the operating system, you can search on the net what are the associated vulnerabilities with Windows 8 professional version, for instance, edition. Okay? Because, let's say, vulnerability that is available in an enterprise version is not the same as, for instance, if you discover that you have, yes, if you do have a home version, maybe in the professional has been, let's say, patched. So you cannot waste your time trying to use vulnerability that has already been patched on that version. So by knowing the name of the operating system, the version, the flavor, so you focus only on that type of operating system.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions, Shabab?
Doctor, I want to ask about the SMB. SMB is a scanner inside the Metasploit.
Say it again.
The SMB.
So SMB, it is a protocol, okay, that is used by different services within different Windows machine to exchange information, to allow, for instance, a service in one machine, in one Windows machine, to access another service in another machine. Okay, this is in Windows. Now people have discovered a flaw, have discovered a vulnerability associated with this protocol. Okay, so they have written an exploit, a code to exploit that vulnerability related to SMB itself.
Okay.
And they put it under library. You can see auxiliary and the library scanner SMB version. And now what we are doing, we are just using that code. We are using that exploit. We are exploiting the SMB, let's say, loophole, or let's say weakness or vulnerabilities that is associated with SMB using, let's say, a scanner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions, Shabab?
Yes, Dr. Sual. Everything is clear, but how you get access to this lab?
Now you can get access. Okay, so I will end my lab. So you can see here, I will end my lab. Yes, end my lab. I will close the window. All right, I will go to module 2, for instance. Okay, when you go to module 2, for instance, module 2 footprinting and reconnaissance, when you click on that one, okay, you will be presented. Let's say click on module 2. Okay, I will click module 2. Now, if you go down, you have whether you want to access courseware or module lab. So when you click on module lab, Okay, it will start checking your browser and it will try to connect you to the live environment in EC console server where they do have all those machines. Okay, and you will have, let's say, all the exercises or labs that are related to that specific module. Okay, if you go to any modules, you will find all the labs there. Okay, and you can do lab by lab, one by one, until you get, let's say, you finish all the labs, and there are different labs. Okay, it depends on, let's say, the topics that you want, let's say, to apply. So, but basically, it is related to, let's say, the topic itself, using some, of course, if you go to, let's say, if you go to that folder where I showed you all those applications, there are many applications. Okay, and some of the labs are using some of those tools. Okay, some of the tools are used with other labs, not necessarily with the footprinting. They are used by other labs, so you can apply them. Of course, the problem, you cannot download them because they are in, let's say, in the VMware environment. If you want to use those tools in the real environment or in your own environment, so you need to search on the net for those applications or tools to download them and use them. And this is here you are, you do have, let's say, the introduction of the footprinting and the reconnaissance lab. It explains you the objective scenario. Okay, and you start by exercise 1, open source, and you start by following all those steps. Okay, guys?
Now, which exercise we've done?
You will do, I want you to do the first one. That's this one. That's why this one you already done it. Okay, open source, we did it last time. Okay, go to the second one, which is collecting information about the target website using Firebug. This is an add-on that can be added to the Firefox, and it can explain you, for instance, how you can get information about a website. If you are targeting some website, where you can get some vital information, how you can extract some information. I want you to do exercise 2. Has anyone used HTTP track before? Let's say, for instance, you want to extract information from PSU website, and you don't want to do it online. Maybe sometimes if you do it online, sometimes you can be discovered. If, let's say, PSU network, they do have, let's say, proper devices or IDS devices, they might suspect that someone is trying to use some tools on their website to extract information. So what you want to do it, you want to do it on your own pace when you are logged off from the internet. So what you will do, you will use this, let's say, HTTP program, okay, where you can find it in this location. You can see here, if you go to E drive, and their website mirroring, footprinting, reconnaissance chapter module, and their website mirroring, you will find that HTTP track website copier. You just double click on that .exe file, and you do have your program. Say you start by installing that program, then you choose your website, your target, and you will download the whole web page. The whole website will be downloaded on your machine. Okay, once you got, for instance, let's say you got the whole website of XYZ target on your machine, you can disconnect yourself from the internet, and you can do whatever on that website. You search for any information within that website on your own time, on your own machine, without being, let's say, detected by anyone. It's like you are doing it on offline. Is that clear? This is what is known as a site mirroring. It's like you are mirroring the website. You are getting information. You are copying the whole website into your drive, into your computer. So you can access it later and extract the information you want to access from that website.
Doctor, but the administrator will know that we
no, he will not. No, he will not know that you have copied. It's like someone who is accessing a PSU website. The PSU, they put it public. صح ولا لا? It is a public website. Anyone can access it. So what you are doing, you are using your own computer. The program is installed on your PC, and it is just download. It's like you are downloading the web pages. If the website has 10 web pages, when you click on on a link, it takes you to another page, So you are just copying all those all web pages. This is the difference between website and web pages. Website contains all the web pages that are used to link to that, let's say www.psu.edu.se, for instance. So you are just downloading all those web pages, and you just navigate through all those web pages one by one and try to use, let's say, other tools to extract the information. For instance, I want to extract emails. Okay, I will use another tool, and I will link my tool to that website, for instance, and it will extract emails. It will extract, for instance, mobile phones, whatever the information you are looking for. But
So
it's like you are copying the whole website into your machine.
So the admin will not know that I
No, it will
download
not.
all pages at once.
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't
How
matter.
do you protect yourself from such a
No.
thing? How do you protect yourself from such a thing?
That's you cannot protect it against yourself. As we mentioned last time, what you can do as let's say countermeasure is to minimize the available information on your website. So you cannot do anything, because if you go, for instance, whether I have downloaded the web page or I am accessing the web page itself, okay, so it doesn't matter if the information is there. Because when you do, for instance, when you copy the website, you are not going to discover hidden information that is not made public. What you are going to see is the same thing. You are going to see it online, you will see it offline. Okay, so what you can do, but this is, let's say, part of, let's say, the type of IDS machine. Okay, when you do have an IDS or firewall, okay, before letting people access your website, you will, for instance, filter the type of protocol that is used by those applications. Okay, but at the end, as I mentioned, there will be no, let's say, we can say, there will be no harm to your website. Why? Because the information is there. Okay, it is on the public website, and the same information, whether you are accessing online or offline, is the same information. Okay, best practice is to minimize the available information in your website. Don't show information that might be used by a hacker. Okay, try to minimize as much as you can the information available. But you can, for instance, if you know the exact protocol number or name, or that protocol XYZ is accessing port 578, for instance, okay, and you know that 578 is used only by this application, because you cannot track all the applications. This is the problem, Shabab. Okay, but if you know, for instance, if you can get the appropriate port used by that XYZ application, you can block access to that port. But practically, let's say, it is not easy. You might, because you are not, let's say, supposed to know all the applications that are used to copy your website. Is that clear?
Doctor, could you please go to the first step?
For which
yes.
which lab? Which lab, Mulham?
هو نفسه هذا.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You go click, for instance, click Windows Server. So I'm already on Windows Server. It says click Control Alt Delete. Now you can click on it, Control Alt Delete, or I can do it from here. Okay, I go there and Control Alt Delete. Press Control Alt Delete, and it will just, like you press on the keyboard. Because we are not connected, our keyboard is not connected directly, let's say, to that Control Alt Delete. If you press Control Alt Delete on your keyboard, it will have effect on your Windows machine, your PC. Okay, so here you can type, okay, or you can just click on that password it will be automatically typed on that input box. Okay, and press enter. You will get directly to using remote, let's say, procedure to access remotely that Windows server. Okay, sometimes you cannot see the bottom toolbar, so sometimes you need to put, let's say, to get the full screen, in order just to have a big picture of the Windows, so you can apply it. Okay, here it says go to CEH in E, so I will go. Okay, for instance, I will go to File Explorer. Sorry, File Explorer. For instance, to PC, I will go to CEH Tools E. Okay, I will go to Module 2. Okay, you go to Website Mirroring. Can you see here Website Mirroring Tools? I'll go there. It says Website Copier. Okay, this is Copier, for instance. No, sorry, Website Mirroring Tools. Then HT website. What is our HTTPS? This HT track website Copier. Then you define that HTTP track. Okay, this one. You just double click on it and you follow the instruction how to install it and use it. Clear, Shabab?
واضح دكتور.
Yes.
Okay, please do it.